I'd like to call this meeting of the West Southwest Milwaukee School Board to order. Suzette, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Mr. Nikich.
Present.
Ms. Deal. Here. Mr. Burns.
Present.
Mr. Becker.
Here.
Mrs. Kaiser. Here. Mrs. Carr. Here. Mrs. Lee. Here. Mr. Keller.
Here.
President Lee.
Here. All right, so today we have school showcases, and to help facilitate the presentation of those showcases better, the board is actually going to move into the audience portion over here right now, and then we'll have the introduction from Ms. Barash. So everyone, if we can move over to the seats.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for one of our favorite nights of the year, which is student showcases, where we get to see our students shine and share their learning. So we are first joined by our friends at Franklin Elementary and 4K and Kinder, and they're going to be sharing about a project they did about jobs in their community. So we're going to turn it over to Franklin.
What this job is.
About that people that come to us about what is the job and stuff.
What were their goals for doing this? Anybody can answer this. What were our goals when we were learning about jobs? Raise your hand if you know. What did we want to learn about jobs? I want you to see you, Jason.
What so we know what to do for the presentation.
Right, what was our presentation? Lexi has it in her hand. What was our presentation?
About jobs.
What was the name of our
Job
presentation?
fair.
A job fair. What was the point of the job fair? What were you guys trying to do at the job fair?
Tell
Do you
people.
remember what you were trying to do at the job fair?
Ask people what was your job.
You were asking people what their job was.
People,
What were people asking you?
what was your job?
And what was your job when somebody asked you about your job? What did you want to do? Margie,
Custodian.
I guess your job was custodian, but what was your job when people are asking you about being a custodian? What were you supposed to talk about?
About what custodian is.
Why would people want to know what a custodian does?
Because it's a job fair. No, it's a.
Fair.
Because it's fair.
You are supposed to ask about jobs at the job fair because the goal of the job fair was you guys wanted to convince people to want your job. What kinds of jobs did we learn about? Naomi, can you talk about some of the jobs we learned about first?
Yeah, what did we learn about? What jobs? Dentist and? Can you think of more?
Let's don't bend it. But I'm gonna talk in the microphone.
You are talking about it.
Do we want to share about what kind of jobs we learned about? Mila, will you tell us what jobs we learned about? You can look at your poster to remind us, our milestone poster.
So first we learned about health helpers like our dentists and our nurses and our x-ray technicians and vets and did I say dentists? Doctors.
Doctor.
So then Mila, what kind of jobs did we learn about next?
Pain helpers.
What was that one?
Cleaning helpers.
Cleaning helpers. Where was that? We learned about who?
Mr. Trevor.
Yeah, we learned about Mr. Trevor. He was a school helper, right?
Yeah, and was.
We learned about school helpers next and people who work in schools.
Can you point?
And what did you learn?
What did we learn about for that week?
Mail
Yeah.
and garbage.
Who came to our school?
Garbage.
The garbage, Whiptall's garbage company came too. What else?
Those are our neighborhood helpers. And Izzy, what helpers did you learn about after neighborhood helpers?
Firefighters.
Yeah, police officers, firefighters, lifeguards,
We called those.
park rangers. And what did you learn about firefighters?
We went to a fire station.
What did you learn about the fire station? And what did you guys learn at the fire station?
About what you have to do when there's a fire station.
What you need to do at the fire station? I mean, what did we learn about, after our safety helpers? I mean, do you remember what kind of helpers those are? What kind of helpers are those? You can just say some of the ones that are on there.
Who's that? Oh, this guy.
It's Farmer. Farmer, yes.
How about these guys? What are they? They make food. What do they do? Yeah.
Yes.
Good job, Abby.
So for our food helpers, we had a barista come in, we learned about farmers. We learned about mushroom farmers specifically, which was really exciting. And we learned about chefs and bakers, the different between those. And Margie, what did we learn about after food helpers? The ones that are on your poster.
Astronaut.
Astronauts.
Engineer.
And train engineers. Yes, Glenn, thank you. What else is on there? Can you think one more thing on there? Flight attendant and pilots. And then, Jace, what did we learn about the last week we learned about our community?
Learn about what do they do?
Which helpers did you learn about?
A builder,
Builders,
artist.
artists,
Scientist.
and scientists. So we learned about what these helpers do in our community. So I would like each of you to mention what one of the helpers from your poster does in our community specifically. How do they help us? That was what we were focusing on. So we'll go back to you, Naomi. Can you talk about one of the helpers on it? Because you are one of those helpers. So maybe you can pick dentist and talk about what does a dentist do to help our community?
Stand up.
What is a dentist? Wait, Mila, you wanna stand up? Well, that's fine. Mila, what does one of these school helpers do to help our community? I know you mentioned, who was that? Who's our custodian at school? How does he help our school, our community, school community?
Clean up the things so we can sleep on them.
Right, so we don't slip on water, right? Alright, spell student.
How to garbage throw, how our community.
They throw away garbage.
They throw away garbage. That's job.
Yeah.
Right? Firefighters help our community.
I don't know.
How do they help our community?
But how is it just?
How do firefighters help us?
They paint water.
They put water on the fire to put it out. What else do they do?
They make sure you keep people safe.
They keep us safe. Good job. How farmers help our community well.
There's some plants up and
They put plants in the ground and food comes out. And what do we do with that food?
we eat them.
We eat it.
All right, Margie, can you talk about one of the helpers on yours?
A train.
What does a train engineer do? Why are they important for our community?
They fix trains.
They fix trains and why are trains important for our community?
You couldn't drive. You couldn't drive.
You gotta get somewhere. Somehow. Yeah.
You're going to Mexico.
It makes sense. Right. What about one of the helpers on yours?
A builder because they help you have homes when you don't have homes.
Yes, builders help build homes when people don't have homes. And Lexi, what came to our job fair to learn about all of these jobs?
Stop him.
Who came to our job fair when we put our job fair on, when we dressed up as our jobs and had all of our information about jobs, we made our tools about jobs, who came to learn about our jobs? Anybody remember who came to learn about our jobs?
It's Miller.
Ms. Miller, some of the people in our school came to learn about our jobs, some of the other grown-ups in our school came to learn about our jobs. Who else came to learn about these jobs? Maybe.
Kids to guess who our jobs.
Yeah, a bunch of the other kids in our school came and they were guessing what your jobs were and they were talking to you about your job.
No,
And then
that's when you were telling me.
some of them were guessing though. You did such a good job on yours that they didn't have to guess, and they knew what jobs were. And who was your favorite people that came to the job fair?
My mom.
Yeah, your parents, they also came with. Yes, Lexi?
My aunt. And my sister.
Yes, and your aunt, yeah, and your sister, they also. Trying to think, what is the only thing we haven't talked about? Oh, what did you guys do with the information that you learned about jobs? What did we do with it? After you learned all this information about jobs, what did we do with it before we got to the job fair? So we didn't just learn about all of these jobs and then go straight to a job fair where we talk to people. What did we do every week? Do you remember what we did every week?
Um, we talk about our jobs were.
We talked about the jobs that we learned every week. Yep. What did we do with that information that we learned about?
We tell people we tell people we did, but we tell people what we did, then they tell us what was your job to do.
Yes. So we asked people about their jobs and they told us about their jobs. And then we told about the jobs that we learned. What like thing did we do to
We
tell
them
about our jobs? Because we didn't use our voices. We used a different kind of voice to tell about the jobs.
We tell them about our job.
We were authors, which means we used what kind of voice to tell people about these jobs? We were authors. What kind of voice did we use to tell people about this job? Remember that?
We tell their nice voices.
Not just with the talking voices. Hello, other, if we were authors, what kind of voice did we use? Do you remember what kind of voice did we use if we used our author
Author
voices?
voices.
But what kind of voice is that then?
Mostly.
What kind of voice does an author use? Oh, she's got it.
We make books and write.
We were writing. So this, our main focus was writing about what we learned about these jobs. And that was where a lot of our standards came from and where a lot of our grading and rubrics revolved around, were around our writing voices and writing about these jobs, which then culminated in them each writing about the specific job that they liked the best for our job fair.
Yeah, so we brought the books that we ended up writing as the final writing piece.
You can pass them on.
I'm trying to find the list of-
I want moms to get one.
And then they'll pass out the ones that were in K5, and then we have a K5 split too, so, yes.
And I guess if anybody in the audience wants to ask questions for students to learn more about their project.
And if I could just add something, so I think one of the neatest things is we do a lot of, as you see here, a lot of PBL units, project-based learning units at Franklin. And our 4K and 5K are getting introduced to this and they're building that foundation. And what was really neat about this project is, like, for example, they invited me and Miss Nelson invited me in to the room. And the kids already had questions down ahead of time to ask me all about my job as a principal. And then one of the kiddos who's actually supposed to be here tonight, and I don't think take it.
Any?
He was a principal during the
I
job
was just
fair,
checking. I-
looked sharper than me, he's ready to take my job.
Here's his
Suit,
picture.
tie, three-piece
Right
suit,
here.
the wingtips.
Oh, yeah.
Just did a fantastic job of really, and this was a few weeks ago, so I think we're a lot of practice, but.
Yeah.
They did a great job of learning all about these jobs, and the key is And how, once again, it's how do these jobs like impact the community? So.
I feel like if
fantastic.
they were asked about their specific job, they could still do it, but asking them about the PBL unit in general. But if I were to say like, Jace, what does an astronaut do?
They go in space,
What tools do they need?
robots.
How do they help people?
They help people test out the space.
Where do you work if you are an astronaut?
Space.
Very specific. What kind of skills do you need to be an astronaut?
Spacewalk.
You need to know how to spacewalk, and why did you choose astronaut?
Because I like what they do.
Same thing to you, Margie. What was your job?
Custodian.
Where would you work if you were a custodian? Everywhere, yeah, because we need everywhere and everywhere. What tools do you use as a custodian?
A mop, a broom.
Who do you help as a custodian?
Probably gym teachers.
We did talk a lot about how the custodian helps gym teachers, because they have gym right after lunch. And so they always watch Mr. Trevor clean up the gym for Mrs. Dan Hoff while they have gym. What skills do you need to be good at to be a custodian?
Without cleaning, getting the tight spaces.
Yeah, why did you choose custodian?
Because I want to clean the earth.
So the questions that Mr. Harris was talking about, that I was just asking them, those were our 6 questions. Those were the questions that they asked all of the visitors that we had come to the classroom. And then those were the same questions that they got asked at the job fair. So then they were prepared for that. Any questions
Are we done?
from the board? Yeah.
So teachers, I need to give you, kids 4K and 5K have been learning in our community for years and years. We didn't. How was this different? This delivery of instruction and this PBL unit, how is it different than?
We tied it directly into their community helpers that they interact with on a daily or weekly basis. For example, when we had visitors come in, they were all visitors from within our specific community. So that it wasn't just this broad concept that they were learning and understanding, they were directly interacting with people from their immediate community. So like we said, we had the West Alice sanitation works come and they brought their garbage truck for the kids to show them. We went to the West Alice Fire Station. We had our own principal come in. The dentist and the doctor and the X-ray technician we had come in, those were all locally based as well.
We had a barista from Fiddlehead,
Yeah.
so.
So we were making sure that the community helpers that they were experiencing and learning about were people that they could see and interact with within our immediate community.
And why do you have milestones written on the post office?
So we wanted like a visual as we went through each week and the kids could kind of, so it's posted usually in the back of our classrooms, we all had milestones and
This
then
was our pathway that was on our.
yeah. So in Jeanette's room, she would have, with the writing, she would post like the students writing above that pathway, so they could look back and kind of just see like, oh, that's what we learned about, these are the specific jobs, this is what my classmate wrote, this is what I wrote. And then in my classroom, we kind of looked at just like different jobs and like how they might look in a community realistically, I guess. Yeah, because in K4, it's a little different, you know, they're still working on their writing. Yeah.
It looks like K4, K5, but whenever we do a project, no matter what grade, you have some still that we're shooting for.
Right, we chose to do visuals because like Jeanette has a straight K5, and has a straight K4, I have a K4 and K5, and a lot of our students aren't reading yet, and so we just chose to do visuals so that they could all interact with them, with the project.
It was meaningful for all of them.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to thank you all for being here and sharing with us your projects that you did. I think you all did a great job.
Hey, you are your school board member?
Great job.
Maybe next year.
Great job.
Put that on the school helpers, for sure.
All right.
I'll take the big.
Here, 4th and 5th grade students from Team Irving to tell us about a project that they did this school year. So I'm gonna turn it over to Ms. Gosh from the team.
Right, hello.
So on Thursday, August 26th, we are going to have our second annual People of Irving Night. And it's actually a game night, so it's the People of Irving Game Night. And on this night, we've got lots of exciting events happening. We'll have a food truck, we've got games in the gym, families come, they'll play board games in the gym. Prizes raffle, we end with all school bingo. So it's really a fun night, but truly, the most important part of this evening are the students and their presentations of learning. So every student throughout the entire school will have a presentation of learning so they can show what they know. And they're gonna show what they know around the standards. So it's gonna be very different in every single classroom. Many classes are opted to make games, which was something that we did as a whole school last year. Other classes are going to be doing something a little bit different. I know we've got some classes that have done some research projects. But all in all, it's all about the process. It's the process of here is the standard, here's what we're learning, and then reflecting on that. And then delivering that at the end and sharing what you know, but it's about that process all the way along the line. So every class, again, has different standards and a different focus that they are going to be focusing in on for their projects. So you're gonna get a little sample here from two separate groups. And they're gonna share the projects. They're in very different places. Remember, we are not fully ready for this until April 26th. But they are gonna talk about what they're going to be doing, and we're gonna ask for a little feedback from you as well. Mrs. Dresky, anything to add? All right.
Hello, my name is Jada.
My name is Isabella. And my name is Mary.
We are fourth and fifth graders at Irving. For the past couple of weeks, we have been working on breakout boxes.
Breakout Box is a series of clues to lead you to our box.
Our clues are based on academic targets that we've learned in our class.
Hello, my name is No.
And Noah and I were just talking about the unbelievable progress too that this entire group made, even in learning how to give a presentation. And so in fact, Noah was one of the students who said, can you listen to this again? So I listened to it again and we did something called a PQP where we gave a praise about what they were doing. We asked them questions about what we had heard, and then we talked about praise, question, polish. Something that they can use, and they got really, really good at this process. In fact, they got so good at this process that they had this, I said, you're gonna have this memorized, you could do this in your sleep.
Hello, my name is Noah. I'm in fifth grade. We are making puzzle games or breakout boxes to show learning and imagination. We got to choose our topic. We chose Greek mythology because a month ago I researched Greek gods and I made a presentation. Dylan thought it was awesome.
Hello, my name is Dylan Robinson. I am in fourth grade. This is a great way to show our learning because we take what we learn and make a game out of it. My group and I are still in stages of making the puzzles themselves. It has been difficult because we had different ideas. We concluded with Greek mythology, Greek-based word problems, and some additions. Throughout this project, we have been challenged in many different ways. One way we have been challenged is that we have many different ideas.
We took a piece of everyone's ideas and put them into our breakout box clues.
We had many disagreements, but we problem solved through them.
I'll explain the process of making the breakout box. First, we had to find out what makes a puzzle game. Secondly, we had to write down the topics we were interested in. Next, we had to pick one of them. After we decided, we made our problems. That's where we left off. It all came from this blue paper.
We would like to show you our breakout box. Do we have any volunteers?
Okay. What do I have to do?
So you, so you
where
start.
the rules?
Rules. High pressure here. All right. Okay, what do? I read the rules?
Yeah, you can read the rules or you can just start here.
Okay, I start here, so I have to crack the code. You actually want to talk? All right.
We're gonna time you on this.
Good, great. Well, let's stop one.
I kid mostly.
Dash.
Your hair wants some.
So. This stuff. With this words, with these words by itself.
It's still on itself.
Okay.
Isabel, can you share just what he has to do to solve that first loop?
So just let you have to press all those. Let's grab what the last version is. And what it.
This is my principal.
Oh, welcome.
Yes, thanks for coming.
Looking good, looking good.
Word search. Word search. I go to the next clue. Find the right word. Oh, here's what animal lives in a pond ecosystem? And do not circle words. okay?
Good to see you. Thanks for coming.
A pond ecosystem. So I find the word I think it is, and I think there's a. You guys see the clue? I defined the pond ecosystem word.
Yeah.
But there was this guy sitting next to you, so I think it's duck. All right, duck, find out what the duck means. Oh. What is it? Oh,
You guys, he's a scientist.
For help.
find out what the duck.
Yeah, right.
So it's a sentence.
Gary, that's what he did the right thing for that. So does that
What does
mean?
that mean? It's English language arts.
Oh, okay, I just need to figure that out. Okay, I know if it was the duck's name. Hello. Fix the sentence.
English is true.
Fix the errors, go to Susie. Fix the sentence. Oh, okay. I'm supposed to, do I write it on here or write it on?
No.
Just say, supposed to be uppercase G, period, no comma, or D, all of the above. And then math, figure out the math equation. They studied 100. Team, we're going to study 27. And how many did they study in total? Good on the answer.
Yeah.
Okay. Key time, find the right page for the key. All right, so what am I, what was it, page 1?
Oh, you're the fire department.
So how many millions are it?
Box, hold on.
Ah, whoa, look at that. Got some gum, all right? And some gold coins, I'm pretty sure are real, so. I did get a few million, so,
Awesome.
hey, thank you. I'm sure that's a record, like usually it keeps them longer. Awesome, nice job, nice, all right, I'll sit down now.
B is PQP, which is praise, question, and polish. To give us feedback, to help make our projects better.
We doing praise questions?
Maybe we have feedback, maybe we have your feedback on our project.
You certainly may.
Very nice job presenting. You did a really good job.
Yeah.
Very close. We call it a praise sandwich in my school. What was you said you were learning about gods and goddesses from Greek mythology?
That was the second group, yeah.
That was the other group. What was your favorite one you learned about? I'm teaching it right now in my class in fourth grade.
Thank you.
Who's your favorite Greek god or goddess you learned about?
Zeus.
Zeus, and I think I know why, but why?
I don't know, he's just cool.
He is cool. You're absolutely right. What was your favorite part of this project? Oh, group over here.
Probably figuring out the, like, how we're gonna make them.
Yeah.
So all the way down the PQE, I think for the praise, I really like the detail of the box. You can tell, we're working pretty hard to figure it out here, so that was really good to see. I heard you mention that you guys had to work through some disagreements, some problems. Can you tell me about a problem that you may have had while creating it?
We all had different ideas. So like it was kind of hard, we disagreed a lot on like whose ideas to use.
How did you solve that?
We put everybody's ideas into the quiz. So everybody's piece of ideas.
That's good. That's a good idea. That stuff doesn't go away. Every group that comes up here, I say that you're gonna have the same thing on your adult, so I'm glad you guys are getting through it. As far as college, I would say one thing, when you're speaking in front of a bunch of people, try to slow down. Just breathe, try to slow down a little bit, because you know what you're trying to say, but none of us know until you say it. So speaking slowly and clearly, really important. Great job.
We would like to invite you all of you to Irving Game Night, where you can see all the student showcases.
Oh, it's 25th. Oh, wait, I need to get to some of the work. I know my dad comes to the town, but all the time is that.
We'll share, sorry. We'll share.
Okay, so it's April. It's in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't know now.
All right, anybody else have any other questions? No, all right, good job, you guys.
Thank you for coming.
All right, we're super excited. Our third presentation is from Jefferson Elementary. And we have fourth grade students here to share their ramp race project with us. So I'm gonna turn it over to you all.
Alright, so our driving question is, how can we as engineers design and create a ramp that will generate the highest average speed for cars that go down it? I can statements are, I can prove that the faster something moves, the more energy it has. I can design, build, or improve a device that shows how energy moves in different ways. I understand concepts of angle and measure angles. I can draw and identify lines and angles and classify shapes by properties and their lines and angles. We watched videos about ramps, and the videos made it look easy, but it was a little bit hard trying to create it with the materials that we had. And then We designed our own car ramps by sketching several drafts. We made a lot of drafts, and sketches, we had people helping us, so it was kind of hard, combining everyone's ideas in one, but we figured it out, because our teachers gave us talking pieces, and we figured out how to, create a ramp with the materials that we had. The group collaboration part was hard, because you had to put it all into like one ramp. And, and like also like making sure that we, put, people's, everybody's ideas into it. These are like pictures of us building, our ramps. We did test runs with our car on the ramp, and our group had to decide on the ramp changes and feedback. Measurements. Then there was the final testing day, and we had to calculate the speed of our cars. To do that, we had to learn about energy, like if you put something higher, the faster it'll go. This is a model of one of the ramps that we built. Some of the challenges that occurred with that when we tried to like glue things together, it wouldn't really stay, or it would just like turn to mush. And other challenges were, like you said, trying to combine everyone's ideas into one ramp, and try to make everyone feel included about the ramp and not hurting anyone's feelings. We had to switch the ideas because like the cardboard, like sometimes like it wouldn't like stay up overnight. How can we apply our learning? Riding a bike or scooter, driving a car when we get older. It like we could this like helped us because like when we're like driving when we're older and like going down the steep and high ramps, it's kind of hard. So I feel like this kind of helped us with our angles. Also like driving a car, if like you're higher on like a hill or riding a bike, you have to like slow down or put on your brakes so you wouldn't crash when you get to the end. Also like when you get older and when you get a job, like you are gonna like have to learn teamwork, how to work with other people. Any questions?
Questions from the board? I'm gonna start this at first because you guys always ask questions.
So, what kind of cars were you using to test it with the Hot Wheels?
Yeah, there are Hot Wheels. We had like we had different kinds of cars. In the beginning, we had a whole bucket we could pick from, and we could pick our own cars. So they're Hot Wheels.
Guys,
What was the fastest car? What was unique about it? Like with the ramp?
Well, give me like our fastest time.
Yeah.
Okay, for my group, it was, 0.53 seconds. For my group, it was like, 0.64 seconds. My ramp, like, 12.40. Because we had a smaller track, but there was like a lot of turns and twists to it. So putting in like the right spot, so we go the fastest. Yes.
Are there any plans to scale up so you can use real cars on any of your ramps? That's what I do. No? Oh,
Yes,
If you were to do this again, is there any like one thing you would change or do differently?
maybe like more support on the ramps. Adding different angles, like, we had to meet like how many angles we would have to put or like shapes. And like the theme, adding, all the angles and shapes.
Just piggybacking off what you said, I think one of the most valuable things that you did was it was in the process of it and it was the iterations of how many times you did this over and over. Like you said, you might come to school in the morning and it might have fallen down. So it's the process and I have to get back to the drawing board. I have to do this over and over and over again until we find something that's successful. And I think that that's a really big idea that you can take away from this.
Yeah,
It's for life.
it was like kind of hard because like we had like limited supplies and it was kind of hard, like figuring out what supplies would hold it up overnight.
Did it teach you a lot of patience?
Yes.
Just curious.
Because, like sharing ideas was kind of hard.
Sure.
because Some of the ideas weren't really working,
Okay,
but we pushed it into one ramp and we got it.
well done. Very good. So there is no demo, no demonstration for us or no ramp?
Didn't really survive.
So we do have a car, and I'm jumping in here,
Yeah.
so they had. And this ramp actually isn't one of theirs, this is just one that was kept, and so they actually had it where. It was almost like a slingshot that would launch. Into the pipe and then it would come down, and so then they would time it. So there are parts of the things like, we tried to have them, they couldn't just take their hands and let it go. So some of them used like rubber bands and kind of hold it back and let it go. Or some would have it set there, but then they would put like a note card or something, and they'd have to lift it up and then they would go. So we tried adding some of those things in there too, so they couldn't just put it and just kind of throw it down. But yeah, so this, if anyone wants a ramp. Because-
Like all the kids just watch it.
Yeah. Cause it's either here or you might see it in a fucking dumpster on your way out. Not gonna lie, that's probably where it's gonna end up.
Our neighborhood helper waste management to pick up.
I have one more question for like just the testing alone, based on that one, slingshot. You guys calculated your speed at feet per second, right?
Yeah.
Did anyone figure out what it was in miles per hour to see if you were actually safe when you got to the bottom? Oh, no.
Commissioner Burns will be there next week.
When we go full scale, then.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what we're gonna do, yeah.
Anyway. Question. Any other questions?
Great job.
Thank you so much.
Wes joining us. So I'm gonna turn it over to you two to get us started. We have two different groups from Wes presenting this evening. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Brooklyn Key. I am grade 8. I have a GPA of 3.8, and I'm here to talk about West Allis West Milwaukee Intermediate Middle School. West Milwaukee Intermediate School will cultivate a culture of excellence where learners, staff, and parents will be held with high expectations fostering emotional and academic growth so that our learners will be able to live a life of successfully.
My name is Elena and I'm an eighth grader at WMIS. My name is Elena and I'm an eighth grader at WMIS. Being a cadet has helped me grow as a peer and as a leader. As a cadet, we help monitor hallways, reduce tardies, and assist school events and assemblies. Even more importantly, being a cadet has helped me be a good role model to the younger students.
Any questions? Yes.
What is your role as a cadet if not?
Our role as cadets is to, we walk, during passing time, we walk around the school to make sure students get to class on time. And if a kid is having trouble during that time, we'll help them get to a staff member or like a social worker or a counselor. And yes,
So are you chosen to be a cadet or do you have to apply or how does one become a cadet?
we were chosen to be cadets. But now that we are like more open to like more students, like seventh graders and like sixth graders who are trying to learn to be cadet when they get to seventh grade. Seventh graders get, they can apply or they can get chosen by another teacher who thinks that they're a good role model to their students as well.
Yes.
Yes.
Why did you want to be a cadet?
Being that,
Sorry.
You both answer, please.
Really just because like you see how the students act and you see how like their grades change, so you want to get them to where they need to be so that they can like change their ways and like, you know, be more focused in school.
and also making sure the students get to class is just like showing them like we're seeing less tardiness during like school and less teachers having a call down to the office saying, hey, this student's not here, but this student's not in my classroom, I know they're here. We hear less of that during our school, so it's just like it's important to hear that coming from our social workers and our teachers and staff members. Anybody else? Yes.
Were you cadets in elementary school?
No, sir. I was a cadet during sixth grade, but I wasn't in this district. I was in the infant, so great cadet.
Brought your talents to us.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna ask. Have there always been cadets at West Milwaukee or is it a new thing this year?
This is a brand new thing this year. Our social worker, she brought it in. She was like, I want to try this cadet thing just to help the students with their more arguments and classes and stuff. So we were like, we'll do it, because you know, I volunteer for anything.
How many cadets are there altogether?
We have five cadets. There's 3 8th graders and 2 7th graders.
Anybody else?
Have you seen a change since you guys been cadets?
I have seen a big change but before, when we first started, it was a lot of like kids, once the bell rang, it was a lot of kids out. We would just like direct them to their classrooms. Now, like today, when I have school, that bell rung and I seen like one kid, and that's the kid that came in late with a tardy pass. So it's like the halls was clear now. That's one thing we really like. Anybody else? Yes.
Yeah, how is this being a cadet, has that impacted you in any way? Being like with friend groups or other people, have they seen different?
Well, kids really don't like us as much.
Does that matter to you though?
It helped me with my patience. Patience is.
And we know, like, one thing that we really learned when we did patrolling is that we can't pick and choose who we wanna, like, tell who to get to class and not to. We really learned that. Anybody? Yes.
Do you report to anybody if somebody is refusing to go to class?
We report to our social worker, Miss Anthony.
How do you do that?
As we're walking around school, we have a piece of paper and a pen, and we go and write their names down. And once the passing period is up, we take that piece of paper, we give it to Miss Anthony, and we let her take it here.
A lot of responsibility there because you have to do it fairly and you have to do it uniformly. And then the students see that you're doing that, so they know like, hey, if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, I'll be on that piece of paper. I'm gonna have to talk. somebody maybe I don't want to talk to. So that's an important thing, right? Because if you just like, oh, I'm only gonna write down the people I don't like or the people that didn't treat me nice or whatever. Then you have this skewed view and people aren't gonna respect you as much. So
Right.
doing it the appropriate way, like you're doing it, is the best way. Because number one, you'll get more respect uniformly that way, right? Number two, they'll listen to you. They'll listen to you now. Hey, it's time to go to class. Because if I don't, I'm gonna get in trouble, so I better listen.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for
That's awesome.
being the first cadets here at West Milwaukee.
Yes. Inspector. It's not a shift change. All 5 cadets work at the same time. We work on different floors. So maybe 2 are upstairs and 2 are on the second floor. And probably 1 is downstairs by themselves or they with another group. And we have our times from morning to first of starting at the start of the end of home base, which is like kind of like around 8. Then right after 1st hour, we go and we do another patrol. And that'll be our last patrol during the school day until lunchtime, 6th grade lunchtime. We do our patrols during then, because it's 7th grade passing time and 6th grade. So our biggest, kind of like our bigger groups. And then once they get to all their classes, we do an after school pause sweep as well, so we make sure all the kids get out of the school. They can, sit outside, but they just can't be in like the school building. So, yeah. Anyone else? Yes.
Joining, being a cadet, how you guys get more involved with like.
Yes.
Well, we both joined volleyball. It was really nice. And then I just joined track. Like very recently. So. And then I think.
I did basketball for like the half season. Yeah, that's.
Being involved at A level is good.
It's awesome. Anyone else?
People behind me.
No? Okay.
Thank you so much for sharing.
And next up, we have our 7th grade crew. That's gonna share about a math project they've been working on.
I'm Miss Cadman, one of the math teachers at West Milwaukee. This recent chapter, we have been in chapter 8 doing geometry. And so overall, when I approach curriculum and the way that I want to provide information to our students, I love to think backwards, and within our classroom, I like project-based learning that occurs within it. And so me and my cooperating teacher, Landwehr, we came up with the idea to have the students create their own album covers. And so within these album covers, there were different IPEN statements that we looked at. So like IPEN express. The biggest thing I wanted for the students with this project was to be able to incorporate different math goals with their creativity, because our students are very expressive and creative. And so I love seeing their work within the classroom and especially integrated with math. So I'm gonna have them just share a little bit about the process. Asher, you guys wanna introduce yourselves? Say your names.
My name is Brian.
My
name is Asher and I'm in 7th grade.
Yep. And so Asher is with Mr. Landwehr's class. Bria had the experience through my class. Bria, if you want to go ahead and just share about what was your takeaway of the project, what were you asked to do, and what did you incorporate within your album? Can you go ahead and show your album and talk about your album cover?
So, this is my album cover. I was asked to make the album cover with different types of angles in it for geometry. And I was asked to add a little bit of creativity. So I just drew whatever came to my mind, and I made sure I had a lot of angles in it. And I was asked to study the angles after. And
what type of angles would you say, or can you?
Like
Uh,
obtuse angles and cube, right? Like that, straight.
Good, yep. And Asher, what was the process of us, did we go right away to our drafts? What did that kind of look like? What were you showing me this morning?
Or I'll show you.
Yeah, your different drawings, your draft.
Oh, like we had like multiple drafts, like we had multiple papers and we could have done like multiple drafts and like which one like that you thought looked the most and was like the best presentable, could have used that one. And like you had to like make sure it had enough angles in each one, cause I'm pretty sure it had to have like 4 angles at least in each one in like all of the categories for it to like, for you to be able to present that one.
And then we took this project and expanded it within our English classrooms as well. So students took their ideas from their album cover and they're doing poetry right now. So they were able to come up with poems that also match their album cover. Oh, I have more examples in my hand. This was another student, Brandon. He did a great job. One of the other areas that we really focused on was different fonts, how to change the letters to incorporate angles within it. So leading up to their final drafts, we did a brainstorming activity that included writing like their titles in different fonts to incorporate angles in different ways. And then we also, like before this project started, examined different like rappers and common pop album covers, and they were able to like identify angles within those projects. So yep, this is one example, and then this is another example as well. And both of these students then wrote poetry about their album. So this one is called Octopus, and their poem goes like this. Deep in the ocean, as dark as the night, octopi roam far out of sight. Soothing and calm, steady and nice, deep by the ocean floor, it's silent as mice. And then the student, her album cover is Hard Times. Live life long, this is my favorite song. Sometimes it can be hard, but we gotta keep moving on. This is my last song, but my heart got broken. But I had to keep on moving on. You came in my life, and now it's lasting long. It's hard times, but you're my favorite one. Don't forget this song.
Oh, give them a hug.
Yeah, I really love Bria's poem that she wrote with us. I think she has such a skill for writing, for expressing herself and her feelings. Would you like to share that? Did you want me to read it? Okay. Can you say your name, because I struggle with that? Okay, that's the one part you're saying. Can we agree?
Okay.
Okay. In the depths of her mind, a misty veil unfurled, where shadows dance and thoughts are swirled.
Yeah, been right.
Her mind a foggy domain, where clarity's lost and echoes of pain remain. In haze of uncertainty, she wanders lost, tangled in the cobwebs of memories tossed. Each step a struggle, each thought obscured, in her cloud and mind, emotions endured. Yet within the mist, a flicker of light, a glimmer of hope piercing through the night.
Bria been right.
She battles the gloom, seeking solaces, bespeaking the gloom. Through the mist she finds her way, embracing the shadows, come what may. For within her clouded mind she finds strength and resilience, her spirit shines. So through her mind may be shrouded in gray,
Bria been right.
finds her path day by day. For in the midst of darkness, she always finds the courage to conquer, her light defined. So, do you guys have any questions about the project, the poetry?
Questions for the board?
First, I'm a teacher too, and I think that's a really cool way you incorporated art, which obviously you're all, it looks like it really inspired by, and also, your poetry was phenomenal. What was what's your biggest takeaway from all this?
Like, outcome, or how did this project like?
What do you remember most?
Or remember most? Like,
I like how it's like math and poetry together because I enjoy both writing and art. So I like that it was able to be brought together to one project.
Oh. Yeah. What are your takeaways? What would you remember about this project? That's okay.
Do you feel that you were able to better understand or learn the math that you were supposed to learn by using these other methods that you were working with your album cover and your poetry?
Yes, it also made it funner to learn.
Yeah, it's like a fun way,
Yeah.
learning the math, like learning new things, but also in a fun way.
So what's your favorite angle?
Yeah, I was like straight. Yeah, I think mine's straight too.
Good.
Okay, nice.
I was gonna say, do you have a favorite album cover, like from a favorite artist or band or something? Like, what did you think of?
Yeah,
Broadway.
Broadways.
We looked at some Rod Wave ones. They have like, one of them had like a cool, what's the Rod Wave album that has the city in the background?
Seriously, how about?
No, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Did you look at like the dark side of the moon? It's got like a angle.
That's
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Oh. Oh, you guys, they don't know the details of this. So you are going to be confident and share this, okay?
So this is also a project we made in woodshop class. It's a tic-tac-toe board. So first it was just a regular block of white wood. And we cut it and we sanded it. We like made lines in it and like sculpted holes in it. And then this thing we added is a door and then like
All the
marbles comes out. And then you put them in there, you could play tic-tac-toe because it fits in like the little holes.
in like.
And they're different colors. And then when you're finished, you could just, when you're finished, you can put it back. Yeah, and we also dyed it 2 different colors. And then, so it's like portable, you can play it like in the car or whatever on road trips or whatever.
I'm so glad you explained that, because my daughter brought that home last year, but told me nothing.
Yeah.
Those are great. Nice job.
That's awesome.
Very, very well done, you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. Yeah.
Thank you, Team West and families for coming. FLW, you can come on up and go.
I am Carrie Clark and
I'm Crystal Fleming.
we teach what we call world humanities at FLW. So we're in a community, NXGL. And once upon a time, I was BL or ELA, however you want to say it. And
I was social studies.
so we decided we're doing much of the same thing. So we just combined it and we called it world humanities. So we teach 3 sessions, you know, for all the kids. And one of the projects that we always take on every year is National History Day. And we're not gonna do any of the talking. We're gonna let the kids talk about their projects and what they've accomplished this semester. So it's like,
Was that big group want to take it first?
yeah, one of our big group call.
Oh,
We only have 10 minutes.
yeah, great.
Okay, so National History Day is basically, so there's a topic every year for National History Day, and this year our topic was turning points in history. So you need to find a topic that really relates to the theme of National History Day. Your topic and like your project should be based around a thesis, which is relating around the subject of turning points in history. So your project should wrap around the theme of National History Day, and you choose whether or not in our classroom, if you want to participate in the regional competition, where then you can go to the state competition and maybe advance to nationals. Yes, and we are all state qualifiers.
Oh, that's awesome.
Congratulations.
32 kids to
Yeah, roughly
regional.
32, and we're taking 15 to state.
Wow, awesome. It's really nice. So why don't you guys tell them what your project was on, what your topic and how, like the process that you went through?
So our project was a skit about the fall of Constantinople. And so we were actually originally thinking of doing a documentary. Because there's 5 different types of presentation. There's either a performance, a documentary, a paper, exhibit, and what else was it? Website. Yeah, a website. So in the end, we decided to do a performance. And you wanna elaborate on that?
We chose the Fall of Constantinople, even though it was hard to find like primary sources. Because it was like so long ago,
Yeah,
like AD times at least. We still like found some because they started the Renaissance. The Fall of Constantinople is the reason why we have the Renaissance.
yeah, so that's how it ties in with the whole turning points in history thing.
And my group's turning point in history, our title was Milwaukee Shut Down Prohibition. So we were talking a lot about the temperance movement and how that really affected Milwaukee and our breweries. We chose to do an exhibit. So we made a board and we showcased our information on our board, and then we added some decoration from like antique shops to put on our board.
So we did topic protest through melody. And essentially what it is we were researching how people harnessed music to spread a message because of the technology that we had in order to, spread these messages of anti-war, peace, and kind of like influence the masses. Because when you listen to music, it's everywhere. You can't really escape it. So it's very important throughout the times. And we had an easy time finding primary and secondary sources because there were so many innovations throughout the years that helped us reach the point that we are in now. And also we had like 2 main people that we've been like focusing on during our project, which was Billie Holiday and Bob Dylan. They have set a great example for the whole world and impacted a lot of us using like lyrics to get us to protest, using like anti-war marches. I'm sorry.
Hi, Jessica. This is my partner on the project, Lena. We did our project on the origins of animation, and we ended up making a documentary. And honestly, wasn't the easiest process in the world. It was very easy finding primary sources, which is because all we had to do was basically just search up animation from like the 1920s. But it was harder finding secondary sources and like stuff nowadays, because we were trying to find information about how animation used to be, not how it is now.
How it like changed from then, like that influenced animation today. Like you have all these different techniques like stop motion, like all these stuff, like these inventions from like the 1800s, like the phenakiscope, that helped like create the flip book, which also helped come into modern animation.
And then a big part of our documentary was the effect on the economy, which basically stuff like creating Disneyland, and it also helped with a lot of America's trade stuff, which even though animation is such a small topic, researching and learning about it helped us learn about many different things throughout America and its history. It's a lot bigger than you think.
I can add on something. So our project overall, just everything, not even focusing on our topics, it helped us learn reliable sources, the difference between primary and secondary sources. We also learned how to annotate our sources and our evidence and things like that. So other life skills, other than just.
And it's also shown us that like, if you put a lot of hard work and dedication towards something, like we can move on to a better place and like upgrade basically.
Yeah, this is most of our third year working on this project.
Oh, wow. I think that's a unique thing because we loop with our kids. So in case you didn't know that, we will normally get them in sixth grade and then loop with them, which really gives us, I think, an advantage because we get to know the kids, you know, and we see what they're capable of in sixth grade. And then we just kind of build on those skills. But then at the same time, they get so into the projects that then next year, especially if they go to regionals and they see other schools' projects and things like that, they get ideas and then they want to build on them. And then they're like, oh, next year we're going to do this. So they really get excited about, you know, the work that they're doing in the classroom. So that's one really cool thing about looping with them.
I think too, they're being really modest with how much time and effort they've been putting into these projects. They've been staying after school, they've been doing things at home, they've been on the weekends researching stuff. So they put a lot of hard work and time and effort into these projects. We're really proud.
Over the years, we've had kids like cold call and do interviews with people over the phone just to get that primary source aspect down.
The Prohibition group actually called the Milwaukee Historical Society, and I believe they called the Historic Caps Brewery to find out information. And you guys did too, right? Something like that?
Oh, you were gonna say something.
Yeah.
Okay, it's really nice having, all 3 years, working on NHD, because you can see like the growth and process going through these. Because like first, it might not be, you know, good or like what you might expect. And then like the next year you could improve. And now this year, since like we're in 8th grade, we have now moved to state and we're very proud of ourselves and Scummy is very proud. We just made it so far. It just shows how much you can improve with these 3 years that you have with this project that is set in our classroom. As well as not to mention the amazing efforts that our teachers have made. For us.
We didn't have Talk about the process, like you could do it an independent project or a group project and how you came, and maybe challenges or things that maybe were struggles for you.
Okay, so you can have a group, it can either be you by yourself or you can have a group up to 5 people. And basically you start off by finding a topic and you just build off of that. And we spent a few weeks just looking at topics, trying to figure out, because we have to narrow down. We can't just do like really big, broad topics. We have to really narrow down. So we spent a few weeks trying to figure that stuff out and really secure our topic, figure out your groups and figure out what type of project that you want to do. That's what we spent most of our time doing, and then we just hopped into it.
I just want to add that Marissa and I, we weren't actually planning on working together because we both had separate groups. And then we started talking and we thought it would be better for us to be together because we understood each other better.
Yeah, so that's also kind of nice, being able to choose your partners instead of just being put with someone random who you don't really connect with or feel like you could really combine something and create something instead of just keeping it there and not moving forward and not, you know.
And that's one of my favorite things about the project. Like you can really explore a lot of different things. There's like not very much limits to what you can do. So it's a flexibility piece in there too, which I like.
Questions from the board?
When are regional, sorry.
So regionals happened in March, I believe it was March 16th, and then actually we're taking them this Saturday to state.
Oh,
So regionals, just to clarify that regionals happens at UW Milwaukee, that's where our section goes. There's different regional spots, like Lacrosse is one, Green Bay, and then state happens at Madison, and then if and when we get through state, we would go to the University of Maryland for the national competition. So this is a national competition that happens in all 50 states. So for them to go to state is really, really a big deal.
And this amount of people.
Yes.
As well, it's really cool.
Please keep us posted.
Yeah, definitely.
We also, and we would have maybe already had the gallery
Yeah,
walk by
it's
now,
a
but
different
just with
turnout.
their schedule this year and with forward testing. And us needing a library to actually present, the board members all will get, and I know some of you have come before in the past. But you'll all get an invitation to come to our gallery walk when everybody presents. I also wanted to say, this is, the eighth graders are the kids. But we have, oh yeah, and some, but we did have a group of sixth graders that qualified to go to state, but we had sixth, seventh, and eighth all at regional. So it was a mix of kids, but we just couldn't get the sixth graders to come tonight for obligations or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah. Because we're a multi-age classroom too. I don't know if you know that, but that's another thing. Okay. So.
Joe. Well, on behalf of everyone here, best of luck on Saturday.
Yeah, thank you so much.
It's really fantastic. I'm looking forward to hearing all you go international.
Yes.
But thank you so much for coming here and talking about your projects. I think they're really interesting. Looking forward to the gallery walk so we can see the work that you guys have done along with your colleagues. And if there's no other questions for the board, thank you. Let's vote, Joey.
What made you guys choose prohibition? I'm curious how you feel about that.
So, it was a sixth grade class in World Humanities. We were watching, a documentary on foods that built America. And one of the, like, episodes that we watched, it was like about prohibition and hats in Milwaukee. And then turning points in history, we were like, well, prohibition was a pretty big turning point, so that's kind of, that's how we got that topic.
I also saw in the informational packet that, the program sent out that if it's a local topic, there might be more points scored, and I think that's why they were like. Doing a local topic.
Actually, a lot of them have applied for like special awards at state too. So like one of them is, if you have a local history topic, you can get put in that and then they'll come and review your project for a different thing. So even if you don't make it to nationals, you could win that special award.
Are there only so many that can move on to state?
Yes, I believe in years past, they've only sent one from each category. So it's the 5 different categories, plus there's individual in group ones, except for the paper. The paper is the only one that you have to write the paper individually.
Okay.
But they send one and then I think they have like their backup just in case something happens and they can't go to nationals.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Take it away.
Okay, our presentation is about 2.5 hours. We'll be, we'll be tight and brief. So we're Central. We've got Ms. Parker here and 3 of our outstanding students in her class here to talk to you about some amazing things going on in ELA as it relates to West Dallas Central High School. So I will turn over to Ms. Parker to help introduce our kids and our project.
Hi, good evening. Thanks for having us here with you. These are 3 of my students from my AP Lang class. Currently at Central, we have 2 sections of AP Lang. Each section has approximately 27 students. And these 3 students graciously volunteered to come in tonight and talk to you about what we're doing. Right now, the AP exam is about a month away. Actually, it's exactly a month, right, guys? Yeah, it's exactly a month. Okay. If you're not familiar with the AP exam, these students will sit for 3+ hours. They will answer between 20 and 25 multiple choice questions, and then they'll be asked to write 3 essays. An argumentative essay, a synthesis essay where they have to read 6 different articles, and then a rhetorical essay. So we've been really focusing on skill review and just really making sure we are ready to just crush that test. So they're going to talk to you about some of the activities we've been doing. Thank you.
So, hi guys, I'm Devin, for those of you who probably haven't seen me around before. So our description, like our whole project was collaborating with each other. I'll pass these around so you can see the photos. So we were collaborating to like answer these rhetorical questions, like so we could prepare for the AP test. And they include like questions like ethos, pathos, and logos, and she'll pass them around. But we, like Ms. Parker said, we're really like trying to hone our rhetorical analysis skills, and like so we can prepare more for the AP Lang test. And
And then I think a lot of like our main focus, again, as he said it, again, is just preparing for the test. We're trying to really just learn the skills for it. And I think it's important for us to get practice, especially with friends where we can just, bounce ideas off of each other and just learn better together. So, we've just basically been studying, working on our skills, just so we can finish the AP test and, pass it.
hopefully.
And like they both said, we were collaborating with everyone in the class. When we didn't know the answer to a question, we were asking others, hey, how did you get this answer? What was the key points that were able to get you to lead to what you got? Because if we didn't get an answer correct, it would lead us down the wrong path. We'd have to start all over again. So that also led us to practicing like answering more questions, which is why there are so many questions in the AP exam. And we also had questions on the paper we were given out at the end. The two questions were, which rhetorical device do you think is the most effective, and what rhetorical device do you still struggle with? These are leading us to prepare for how we're supposed to study for AP exam, which is how we're also preparing as well.
And a lot of the questions that, like some of the questions, a lot of us didn't know the answer to, but some of us like did know the answer to. So we would like ask each other like, oh, how did you get this answer? Like, do you know what this is? And that helped us like succeed and like we were able to complete the project, well, not project, but
Yeah.
quest trail thing like a lot quicker than if we were just like alone. So I think collaborating in a group of like 2 to 3 like really like helped us like succeed a lot better.
Especially with how interactive, like, just because you're with it, it's just really interactive.
Can you just help me understand what is rhetorical essay? Tell me more about rhetorical. What does that mean?
There's like this guy, this really, really old man named Aristotle. He created like ethos, pathos, and logos. And those are kind of to persuade you to like, I don't know, believe in something. So like, for example, ethos is like the ethical part of it. Logos is logical. And then pathos, it's like the path to your heart. It like makes you feel emotion. It makes you feel emotions. It makes you laugh, makes you sad. There are like some, I don't know which one someone has, but it's like up like, is it the sealed? I don't know if it's the sealed or like a sad child or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pathos because it's like it's making you feel bad and making you want to donate or like whatever it says on.
Commercials.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of like what we were like honing, like to make sure we all like knew. And there were some questions like, I don't think we have any, but it was called antithesis. Yeah, like, no one knew what it was. But then like once we kind of like figured it out, like everyone was like, oh, like, and then like we all kind of like, it was like a sense of community comes, all found out together. Yeah.
What grade level are you all?
11th grade.
11. You're smart.
Did you face any challenges when you were going through this process?
I'll leave that answer.
I mean, for me, it was pretty difficult because, like, I mean, the main point of it really is just to see what you're struggling with so you know what to study. So there were some parts that like I struggled with personally, and it was like a week ago, so I barely remember like the ones because it was just last week or so, right? 2 weeks.
I think it was Friday.
Friday.
That was last Tuesday.
Sorry, I have a bad concept of time. So, but I do think like the main thing about it is that like understanding it can also help us build our essays too, because that's what makes up the essays. So just understanding those things, like basically all of the, sorry, I'm at a loss for words right now.
The rhetorical devices are what we start our essays with. The rhetorical essays that we need to write for the AP exam. So starting out with all of these questions is leading us to be able to fill out on our exams.
How long are these essays?
Too long.
In every essay, we're supposed to have at least introduction and a conclusion, and then that doesn't include any of the specific prompts that they want us to answer. Because they can ask like 3 questions per paragraph. There could be three paragraphs to like a question, like we have to read passages sometimes. It depends really. It's a lot.
It's basically, we just need a 5-paragraph essay that we have to write within like under an hour, basically within an hour. So we've been also doing 40 minutes. Thank you.
Are you typing these or writing? I'm
Writing, we have to write with our hand.
Writing?
Yeah, because it's an AP test, we're not allowed devices.
Oh, sure.
Oh, okay.
And so we've also been like, practicing writing essays in under 40 minutes basically in the class. Because
Last time you got to do that, right?
We do those for warm-ups in the class all the
Right,
time.
yeah.
And I think a lot of these rhetorical devices will like help us not only in school, but like in our personal lives. Like, if you want to like get a good job, sometimes you have to use pathos and like maybe make your employer like feel just a little bit bad, So, like, yeah, so that you're more likely to get hired. So I think like these are like very important in like day-to-day life and like even not only on the test, but like, just walking on the street. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I started using these things at school to try and see if you can. utilize your-
I haven't used them at school, but every time I'm watching commercials, I try to see if I can point out what it is. It's not like I do it on purpose. It's just, it happens.
Bring back to life though, like I remember learning about like different ways they persuade you, like in dare, and so like even now, it's like, oh, this, that.
That's great.
And it's really surprising, just like it can be everywhere. Like you just have to start, like once you start learning about the topic, that's when you start to realize that they use these strategies everywhere.
Once you start telling your friends how the episode ends.
Good luck. Yeah, good luck on
the test.
Very much so.
Well, thank you so much for coming.
Yes, thank you for your time, you guys.
Thank you.
That's what we found.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Good luck to you.
That was amazing. I know, really good. When they're presenting.
Ms. Marsh, is there anything else that you wanted to say before we close out?
No, I'm just thankful to you all for making that adjustment because I think it was great to have the families get to record and see their students. And I thought everyone did a fabulous job. So grateful for all the families that came too.
Yes.
Lots of families tonight. So yeah, thank you for another year of student showcases.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, yes, thank you everyone who came tonight, all the students participated, all the staff that helped them prepare for the presentation this evening. It's always great to see what's happening in our schools and being able to see like what each school thinks that they want to be able to present to us as the board. So it's a great way to see a little peek into what's happening in our schools. And I hope that our community will take the opportunity to review these recordings so they can see themselves as well, for those who are not as involved in our schools as some of us are. So with that, if there's any other comments from the board, otherwise I would look for a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second. Moved and seconded, all those in favor? Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.